Welcome back to another session. In today's session, I'll quickly go over what is volume profile and also how you can leverage volume profile into your day-to-day trades to understand why a price is responding at a certain price level and also why a level is price is attracting to magnet towards a certain price level, all under 10 minutes. So I won't get into deep dive of what exactly is volume profile. I have a separate video on that if you're interested. Look for that video. But I will give a quick intro. What exactly is volume profile? So in volume profile down here, you can see what we have is a fixed volume profile over here from X to Y of a certain time frame. Okay, so volume profile will shows instead of each timing of the volume that is shown, is essentially shown at each level of each price. Okay, and within each price have different amount of volume that's transacted through. So we have the main couple things that you need to know is at this point over here, this white line, this is the point of control. It means the price is most traded through during this time from X to Y. This price has been transacted between bid and ask the most. Okay, and then you have this two blue line over here, which is mean these are the volume high and this is the volume low. Means that this is a 70% of the trade happens within here. So you can view this blue zone within this box as a fair value price. That market, either both buyer and seller, find this as a reasonable price, as a fair price. Anything outside below or above, these are considered not a fair price. So typically these outside price will not spend too much time. So you can see there's not a lot of time price that's spent outside here. There's not a lot of time of price is spent outside here. But majority of the price wants to go outside here, it will go back in here, move around, go outside, and then magnet towards inside. So that's the only thing you need to understand with volume profile is how you can leverage this to understand why price draw to certain price level. Is one, it's not just to fill the liquidity void or a fair value gap, or why a certain price bounce at certain point. Price is always at auction, right? So there's auction market theory that you can read into it. At a certain price, that if you're buying something, you view a fair price. At a certain price, you view it as a discount. At a certain price, you view it as too expensive. So price, let's say it's above, this is too expensive. Above, this is a discount, right? Once you get bought up into a fair price, that's the price that will trade it through a lot because those are a fair price. So that exactly is what volume profile is telling you the story. So you need to first understand this, and then we'll dive into the live chart after this. Okay, next thing. So as we just mentioned before, what these are the key component that you need to understand is the point of control, value area, high value nodes and low value nodes. So I'll quickly go over high value nodes and low value nodes. So you can see here, these low area where the bar is not as high as this, these are considered low value nodes. So these are considered low value nodes. These are considered high value nodes. Okay. So high value node is simply as pretty much as it says, there's a lot of price traded at this zone. There's very little price traded at this zone. So it just mean typically, let's say if you're viewing as a fair value gap or a value void, there's probably during this sell off, the price moved down here too quick, right? Price did not spend too much time around the zone here. So that's why it left a very, very little volume. And this is where typically price will go back into. So you can see price go back into here and then fill that volume, low volume nodes, and then reject back. Well, you can say reject, but it's not really rejection. It just go back to the fair value price, right? So within this zone, as we mentioned, these are the fair value. So once you go out and fill this, orders that it didn't get filled before since it moved too quick, was selling too quick, go fill it and then continue lower into the fair value price. Okay, so that's all you need to understand with volume profile today. If you want a deeper dive, you look into the other video, but let's jump into a live chart now. Right, now let's take a look at the live session here. So these are, I'll start from first week of October, and you can kind of see where the price is trending towards. So let's leverage fixed volume profile. So I'll take how you can leverage the volume profile from the session to session to give you an understanding where the price is going to draw from. Okay, so on October 2, this is where the profiles for October 2. And then now let's say we're going to October, the Friday of October 3rd, the next day of this. What we can see here is there is a volume control here. So I draw this out, right? You can see next day when price open, the market draw towards the point of control, right? So this is the key highlight. So on my entry this day, right, there is a water block here, and then there is I use fib of retracing to OTE. So you have OTE around here. So I'm not going to go down to lower time frame, so just to not to go through all the top-down analysis of deep dive into different strategy I use. If you want to see those, I can make a separate video, just leave a comments. But today I'll go through each day quickly, how you can leverage the daily bias and why I look for a certain trade, and how you can leverage volume profile for a certain trade. Okay, so here it's very obvious, and here you can see this is as simple as it gets. OTE, enter at OTE, binding with the water block at 1 hour time frame. So this is 1 hour time frame I'm looking at, and just target this. This is 2.4 RR. And then you can see the reason for this is drawing towards the volume profile of the previous day, right? So if I do this again, right, and then I have the volume profile for this day, okay, let's say once it's drawn, you can see using just the point of control of the previous day, the draw towards here. And then as we mentioned before, these two blue lines are considered a value high and value low. Typically the value high, value low, I only use it on the day I'm looking at. I don't really use the previous days. The only previous day I only leverage point of control, but I only look at the value of high and value low on the today's day. The reason for that is this is the session that I'm interested in. If you want, you can look at both days. That will be more accurate, but I don't find a need for that when you're trading intraday. So you can see once you grab the volume profile, a point of control previous day, in today's date, right? In today's, this is considered outside of the zone, right? So you have, let me draw a circle here. So you can see this is considered outside of the value area. It will rebalance back into the value zone, right? And then if it does want to continue to reject and not go higher, then it will reject at the volume high, continue back and lower. Maybe not to the low, maybe just go to the low that was generated, or even just the value low, right? So this kind of give you an idea. Say if you, let's say you missed the first entry, you want a second entry, this is the entry you can take and then target the value area. Sometimes even, let's say we target the low, it doesn't go to low, is because it's not supposed to go to low. It's not ready to grab liquidity, but most of the time it will always grab value low, right? So this is deleting all this, and then let's move on to this day. So this day we have a new volume profile. Again, let's highlight again. We have volume point of control over here. So see what happened. Once it raises up, market open, pull back to the point of control, and rebalance, and then continue higher, right? So we can keep moving this forward, and you can kind of see outside. And this day, there you can see there's no trade, right? There's really no trade for this day. Once it's outside, it pull back into the point of control. It went lower to grab all these liquidity once there's a liquidity sweep. But all of these are happening outside of volume profile, right? So you can see from here, these are all volume profile that's low within the fair value range. Go back to fill lower nodes, right? So come back here, fair value price, and then if we want continue lower or continue lower, right? We'll move on to next day, right? I'll kind of show a couple more. So it's easy as well. So you can see a lot of time that the price is spent on this day is on the point of control. On this point of control, once it's respecting it, it wants to go towards these low liquidity void. So you can see these are considered low value nodes that it would need to fill, right? So you can see once the price get out of it, it move very efficiently. It's not because market makers making move efficiently. right? It's because there is low volume here. There is nothing, there's no resistance. There's no resistance that prevent price to go higher, right? Until there's a lot of resistance around here. You can see the price slow down at this candle for 1 hour before pushing higher. Okay, as simple as that. Next day, same thing. Point of control, where does the liquidity draw towards? The point of control, right? Same thing, next day. Point of control. Price return to point of control, respected it, and then bounce higher, right? So, and then coming back down. Well, and then afterwards, there's the Trump tweets. So this is considered a black swan. There's really no algo or things to read, just a tweet. So there's no point in interpret this huge leg down or sell off, just a Trump confluence, I guess. But as you can see, before the tweet, it's following where the volume will sit heavily and where the price is fair. Okay, that's something all you need to know. And then let me remove this so you can kind of see. So I have the session volume profile here. Okay, so with the session volume profile here, you can kind of see where price is going to go. And I think we started around here. We can take a look back and into September. You can take a look as well. The volume profile here, right? On this day, price was all the way down here. It retraced all the way back into near the volume profile. And then there is a order block. Respected it and then rejected, right? Same thing. Volume profile here. Order block here. This is a low volume nodes in the area, so price filled it and then rejected, right? Same thing on here. Price spent a lot of time. Once get past through it, it's going to want to trade to the other side, right? It's always going to be, you can think of a ping pong that is going to bounce between this volume profile. Outside, inside, outside, inside. This is how you can kind of gauge where resistance and support is going to sit. But in short, this is pretty much it for volume profile, how I'll leverage it, and to give me at least an idea where price is going to magnet towards or reject off of, leveraging the previous session instead of just blindly following different entry at different fair value gap or different resistance at multiple levels. This kind of give you at which level you should look for key confluence, right? And again, you cannot just leverage single indicator or single strategy or PD arrays to look for entry. You need multiple confluence, right? I only leverage volume profile to look for confluence at that price. For instance, I look for confluence around the point of control here, and I take a short at this point. So I'll leave my limit order at this confluence here and just wait the price to come to me. If you find this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe, and then comment any other additional concept you want to see or any strategy you want me to dissect more on top-down analysis. I'll do a separate video. Other than that, stay safe, happy trading.